Okay, so in the last video, I ended with loading in all of my CSVs, any data that I will need, and then I also changed 2 of the San Luis Valley Field Office strata to the abbreviations of 2 of the Uncompadre Field Office strata. And for the sake of time or out of laziness, I left the rest of the San Luis Valley Field Office data or strata names in because it's not going to affect my code at all, which I'll show you an example of later in this video. So the code's set up to run hashtag to hashtag, and if I have anything that needs to be changed in the code, I will write it in these green hashtags or helpful hints. Okay, so now I'm in native versus non-native, and I can just continue running my code because, like I said, it's already set up to be run at this point. So I'm going to run until I reach the next green hashtag. And we'll see in the bottom right corner that now I have my noxious and non-noxious species graph. I can either take a screenshot or I can export an image or PDF. And I'm going to run the next lines of code until the next green hashtag and see the same thing happen for percent cover of annual and perennial grass. Okay, so for this next code, Stratum Description, general using teardat form plots, I'm going to run the first 2 lines because these are the Uncompadre Field Office ones that I'm interested in. And I could either move on and not run the next ones, but just to give you an example of what would happen if you do leave in additional strata, I'm going to go ahead and run that next line of code. So I'm going to jump down to the next screen hashtag and run these lines of code for my SS strata. And I'm going to run through this and stop at the hashtag, which is indicating that my salt desert stratum would be starting. And I'm going to scroll in my console and see the results that I received. So I see my hashtag there, and right below it, I have my average precip range. Then I have my slope range, elevation range, and for ecological site, we'll see that it shows the number of plots below the ecological site. So I have 1 unknown, I have 2 R036XY113CO, and so on. Landscape type, it does the same thing. So I see that I have 4 flat plain plots and I have 5 terrace plots. And it's set up this way because in the report, it's only words, so I don't need a table or graph or anything. And if I were to run the salt desert, I would see that I'm just getting the same results. And let's say that I did move on to the LLA strata from San Luis Valley. You'll see that it just produces blank results because it isn't specified anywhere in my CSVs. So I'm going to skip down because we know that these next following strata are San Luis Valley. And I'm going to go ahead and run my soil pits section. Okay, so I loaded in Sage Steppe Salt Desert, and it's going to skip down and just show you guys the results for Sage Steppe. Okay, so here we got our hashtag, so Sage Steppe texture. So we'll see we have 3 horizons that are in the C, which is clay. And we have 2 that have a CL texture, which is clay loam, and so on. We have our range of rock fragments, the number of horizon per effervescence type, and then we have our range of percent clay. And then I'm going to go ahead and skip salt desert because I feel like you guys get the idea, and all of our San Luis Valley Field Office. Okay. So now for the rest of the code, we need to have a population size calculated. So I'm going to run Sage Steppe and Salt Desert lines of code. And then I'm going to run through Sage Steppe and Salt Desert lines of code and skip over San Luis Valley strata. And now that just calculated my number of plots per strata, which we'll use throughout the code. And now we're moving into soil stability. So we're going to run until the next hashtag, which is telling me this is for Sage Steppe. And if we just give it a second, we'll see that it's running here with the red stop sign. And it's going to produce a table for me, which again, I can either export or I can take a screenshot of. And the table is of my type, mean, min, maximum, and margin of error with an 80% confidence. And we'll see that it's broken out by all samples, under plant cover, and no cover. And so we could run the same thing for Salt Desert, but I'm just gonna go ahead and skip over. And these are all the San Luis Valley Field Office strata. And then we're gonna move into calculating surface cover, which is a little bit longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there and just create a new video for that next section.